right back to the beginning. That's it, magic.
When your work of art is a television program, the palette of special effects at your disposal these days is extremely colorful. And in this program, we're going to take you behind the scenes and let you into a few little secrets. We're going to show you a little of how the video magic that you take for granted is actually conjured up.
Peter Michael is 40 years old, the chairman and one of the founders of Quantel.
We always take the signal, convert it into a digital form, the language that computers understand. The real art in the game is then to hide the computer.
Complicated indeed. This will store one picture per floppy disk.
The basis of graphics is, of course, drawing.
So they're legal and they're beautiful. What could be better?
That was a technical breakthrough.
Quantel persuaded the Canadians that the British design was smaller and better than its Japanese rival.
10,000 cuddly pens.
Quantel's idea was to link separate, small machines together.
Keller's control equipment had been lost en route.
This must be the worst moment of my life.
Welcome to the MCI Quantel exhibit of the amazing DPE 5000 video effects.
I'm in a little box, flying all over the screen like this.
Taking it from 2 to 3 dimensions.
With its control box. So, instantly, I can get a round world. I will now disintegrate the world. What the Harry computer basically does is combine the real people and the computer graphics and make it all look all real.
Can everybody hear me? I can't hear myself.
It would be fantastic if it came off.
Well, that's that.
Hello, everybody. Firstly, look, welcome for being here. It's lovely to see you all. If you think back to, there was a meeting about 4 or 5 months before the Paintbox was launched, where Richard Taylor said, okay guys, what we're looking for is a machine which real artists will use and paint real pictures with. And I'm here to say you did that. Thank you.
Hi, Tony Redhead here. Just wanted to pop in for a second. Wish you all the best for the 50th birthday of Quantel. I wish I was there, but it's a hell of a long way from Adelaide to where you guys are, but I'm there with you in spirit. You know, I started a little bit later, 83 actually, was the first time I saw my Paintbox at a trade show in Sydney. And Martin had decided to take a little break and headed off, probably for a beer. And I jumped in. And from that moment on, my life sort of changed, really. I tried for ages to get my studio to my television station to buy one, but they didn't want to. And in the end, I found myself on a plane heading toward the UK and Newbury for a lunch with Richard. And from there on, it was a hop across the pond to the US to meet with Howard and then George Grasso, then back to Sydney. Finally, the notice came through that, yeah, I'd been given the opportunity to work in the United States with George and Howard. And I walked into my station manager's office and said, thanks for not letting me buy a Paintbox. I'm out of here. The journey then was just, it was amazing. You know, traveling around America, showing the Paintbox, it was mind-boggling for people. It was the best thing you could ever do. And then, you know, coming back to Newbury and working with the guys and helping develop it, it was an experience that I wouldn't have missed for the world. So, yeah, Quantel, happy birthday. And to Adrian for all that he's doing with the Paintbox that he's got, that's showing it and encouraging people to use it and displaying all the art that we did over the years. He's doing an amazing job. So once again, best wishes, happy birthday, 50 years. Bye-bye.
Hello, I'm Cesare Massarenti. I'm speaking from Milano, Italy. And I want to say that we were one of the very first owners of the Paintbox. In the fall of 1982, I purchased the Paintbox with my wife, Chiara Boeri, who used it at home for about 6 months before we created a company called the Computer Video Film, also known as CVF, as it was better known in those days in Paris. Besides creating commercial work, we also had the opportunity of having grants from the Ministry of Culture of France to create actual paintings with the Paintbox that were exhibited as paintings and not just as commercials or other commercial artwork. We also added the Mirage and 2 Encore channels, and we made a lot of 2D and 3D images for major projects, including live shows in the circus in Paris and at the inauguration of the Museum of the Science in 1986. Afterwards, we purchased a graphic Paintbox, and Chiara really became a very well-known artist using just the Paintboxes and printing in very different ways on different materials. And she went on with using all the following iterations of the Paintbox until 2015. And I must say that I'm really grateful to Quantel because the company really manufactured equipment, invented and manufactured equipment that revolutionized the way we can make digital images. Because especially the Paintbox was a very easy to use instrument by graphic artists, not by anybody. Again, I congratulate the Quantel people on their 50th anniversary.
If you made it this far, no doubt you've enjoyed the video. which was inspired and created by Mike Parsons for the occasion of Quantel's 50th birthday. So the first thank yous of this video go to Mike, and especially Adrian, who was never a Quantel employee, but his unstoppable enthusiasm for Quantel, starting with the Paintbox, he's now the archivist of all things Quantel. His evangelical pronouncements about the impact of Paintbox on computer art, his brilliant website, and now his collection of hardware will ensure that our legacy is celebrated long into the future. The first showing of this video will be at the Dolphin pub in Newbury, which 50 years ago was situated next door to our original site in Newbury Town Centre. All of our birthday celebrations have been held in the Dolphin, and for those with very long memories, it seemed the appropriate venue to meet. Over the years, we've met several times to celebrate our birthdays. I say birthdays in the plural because, like the British monarch, the King, the Queen, Quantel has 2 birthdays. For royalty, the first birthday is the day when the monarch was born and named, and then there's the celebratory official birthday, which is recognised by the nation. Quantel was actually born in 1973 and named by my wife Rhiannon over a breakfast discussion. The name was then registered at Company's House in August 1973. We potted along for 2 years, but things had to change. 1976 was a huge year for broadcasters who needed this, a synchronizer. Now, no digital effects here. This is our first brochure, the Quantel DFS 3000, the NTSC version. So in 1975, Peter Michael, founder and chairman of Micro Consultants, our backing company, appointed Richard Taylor as our MD and Paul Keller as our head of research. And that's when Quantel really took off. With Quantel's front and back end and Richard's and Paul's digital expertise in the middle, the Quantel synchronizer was born in record time. We made it to the Montreal Olympics, the bicentennial celebrations, and the presidential elections in the United States. All huge television events, all needing synchronizers. We sold lots. Now, it's easy to say that the rest is history, and this is not the place to follow the 50 years of twists and turns, but what a fabulous story. The reunions celebrate the story, and it's wonderful that so many attend these occasional gatherings and also follow the stories on the XQ Facebook page, which now has over 300 global members. At the Dolphin, we meet not only to celebrate products and technology, but also the camaraderie of the people who all contributed to the special atmosphere in which we were immersed. So my ending thank you is to everyone for your continued enthusiasm, and who knows, if we keep taking the tablets, we'll be here again in 2033 and 2035. Happy birthday, everyone.